The house needs painting, the grass needs mowing. Where's he at?
Hi, this is Hank. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me.
Hey, what do you say we go fishing? Hey man, today is a very special show. I'm going to go to my stomping grounds, where I grew up, where I learned to bass fish. Going to Lake Wylie, South Carolina, North Carolina. It is on the border. So half's in north and half's in south, and I'm going to be fishing solo. Then my granddaughter's going to join me. Then I'm going to bring in a super duper fisherman to teach me and to hopefully teach you a technique that is awesome and catches a lot of big bass. So we got an action-packed show. We're going to look back at some of the old history that I have on Lake Wylie, and we're going to be fishing, and we're going to be casting, and we're going to be learning. So it is an action-packed show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you stay with me. I'm Hank Parker. Lake Wylie. Man, I haven't been here in 20 years, so it's gonna be interesting. I grew up on this lake, so we got sunshine and a whole new lake. 20 years, golly bone. A lot of history for me on this lake, so excited about today. Let's go fishing. The lake's got some color to it. Catawba River, it's pretty clear. It comes out of Lake Norman, but Wylie has the South Fork River that feeds it. It's always got color when it rains, so I like a little color. I used to fish that quite a bit 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Ooh, that hurt right there. That hurt when I said I fished that 50 years ago. Pretty interesting. So let's make a little move. We'll see what's happening on old Lake Wylie. Well, strike two. I hit two of my old hot spots and nothing. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. Keep on boating. A lot of memories. My pilot television show, I shot half of it on this lake and half of it on Santee Cooper, 1984. And this is 2024. So how long ago was that? 40 years? 40 years. 40 years ago. There's a fish. I got a fish. I got a fish. Ooh, a jumper. I got a jumper. Spotted bass. How about that? Spotted bass. First spotted bass I've ever caught out of Lake Wylie. All the years I fished here, that's my very first spotted bass. How about that? Long and lean. They caught me a bass on one of my old spots of a different species. Oh, I got a white perch. White perch. All right, that's my first white perch. I've caught two fish out of Lake Wylie. Fished here 1,000 times at least. And I've caught my first spotted bass, and now I caught my first white perch. Okay, white perch time. Look at the white perch. There's so many down there, it's crazy. You know, this lake meant so much to me. I spent so much time here in the mid 70s and 80s, and man, I love Lake Wylie, and for some reason, I just hadn't fished it in like 20 years. And so I'm going back, it's kind of a reunion, and as I ride down the lake, I just reminisce and I think about a lot of things that I've done in the past in a lot of places and a lot of locations, but Lake Wylie has changed. When I was there and fished it regularly, it was all about shad, it was all about deep water structure, there were no white perch. It's a different game today. So Lake Wylie's changed a lot, and I'm going back to my old spots and I'm trying to figure out what in the world is different about this lake. And I finally find one spot. And you know, those bass were feeding on those white perch. That was the key. Well, that was something completely new. Even though I had been all these years on Lake Wylie and I knew all these spots, it's kind of like shuffling the cards, man. It was a whole new game. So it was a challenge, but it was exciting and a lot of reminiscing. Look at my Mega Live and look at my screen on my 2D sonar. That is all white perch. They are loaded. Look at this. White perch, white perch, white perch, white perch, white perch. Now, I need me a little bitty bait. Here now. Don't be ugly. On the back release. I feel the white perch just nailing this thing. Nailing it. Look at him. Nailing it. You white perch. Oh, look at that. I got him. I got him. Man, a bass. Look at this. A bass in the middle of the white perch. Oh, another largemouth bass. That is awesome, in the middle of the white perch. So here we are, adapting to the new age of Lake Wylie with spotted bass and white perch. I doubt it, it's probably a white perch. There's a million of them in there, but he's pulling a little harder. He's pulling a little harder. I may have a bass fish. Look out, a largemouth. A largemouth. How about that? I caught a largemouth out of Lake Wylie. My first one. I tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing some fun stuff. I fished with my stepson Jeremy the other day, and we went to Monticello. So I didn't know anything about Monticello, hadn't been on it in a long time. Hadn't been on Wylie in many a year. I really don't know how many. I've been rolling it through my head. I keep saying 20 years. It's been a long time. But I've caught spotted bass, white perch I've never caught before. And now I caught me a largemouth. So we're on the move here on Lake Wylie. You know, there were a lot of fish on this spot, but there were so many white perch, I was bouncing off the white. I could feel them on my crankbait, and they bumping off the bait. And I knew there was some bass in there, and they were sprinkled in, and they were not giant bass by any stretch of the imagination, but they were bass. And so it was a lot of fun figuring all that out and getting that bait through that white perch successfully. That was a challenge, but when you could, every once in a while you caught a bass, and that's what made it fun. White perch, look at it, there's so many white perch. You can't hardly run a crankbait through there, and that may be what's getting those bass to hit. Maybe then they're feeding on these perch. And this thing bouncing off of them, it kind of looks like a perch. It's a beautiful color. CT12 art. But that is an incredible color. And it kind of matches those white perch somewhat. You know, SaraBeth was back there in the back of the boat the whole time, and she's shooting on her cell phone, little stuff we might use on the podcast, and just stuff she could reference. She wants to learn more about fishing. And when I started catching the white perch, I got a little aggravated. She's back there just busting a gut, you know, and I'm saying, you got to be quiet, man. They're going to hear you. You don't exist. So I brought her up there. She's making fun of me. I'm going to make fun of her a little bit catching some white perch. Got him?
Yeah.
Don't pump your rod. There you go. Just wind him. Now
There
swing
we
him
go.
over here to me. Oh, a little wild there, Sarah. Look over to the camera right there and say, I just caught my first Lake Wylie white perch.
I just caught my first Lake Wylie white perch.
There you go. There you go. Now you're letting the rod do the work. Now you're doing, oh, you got a nice one.
Woo.
All right, hold him right here. Don't, no,
No, what?
No, don't get your little finger stuck. These things will prick you and make a mark on your, and you'll have to go get your nails done. And
I
that
can't
will.
chip her nail.
I like bass fish better. They don't hurt you so bad. All right, now wind it slow and easy. Don't pump your rod. Wind it slow and easy. I might have a bass. I got a bass, Sarah. I got a bass. I'm excited. You got a white perch? Let's double. The daily double.
Yeah.
Look at mine. I got a nice bass. I got a nice bass. Woo, my biggest bass of the day. Look at you on Lake Wylie. How about that? Man, SaraBeth's catching white perch and I'm catching, got me a keeper bass. I like that. I take so much for granted. I'm business, man. When I'm on the water, I take it all in and I love it, but I am business. I'm trying to catch a bass and my mind is occupied. SaraBeth is out there without a care in the world, paddling in the water, just loving being alive and out there. It's helping me. She's helping me understand that it ain't all business, man. It's about good times. It's about camaraderie. Relax. I'm not in a bass tournament. I don't have to make 30,000 casts an hour. If I want to, I can take my shoes off and paddle in the water. Just have fun. And that helped me a lot. You know, it just said, you know, we're not catching fish like I wanted to. This lake's not living up to my expectations. But she's having a ball, why can't I? So she helped me have fun, and I thought that was pretty cool. We just had a good time. Not only myself fish Lake Wylie, Guy Aker fished Lake Wylie, grew up there. Jerry Ryan, the late great Jerry Ryan, another tournament winner, Bassmaster Classic guy. Sonny Bean, a lot of great fishermen fish Lake Wylie. Well, one of the best fishermen in the country, and I think the best skipper that lives, is Andy Montgomery. He grew up fishing Lake Wylie, and he learned to skip those boat docks. So I asked Andy, I said, Andy, how about come down and join me at Lake Wylie and let's show everybody the proper way to skip a boat dock. I would have showed you, but I am not good at it. I have never been good at it. I can take my little pistol grip rod and I can throw a spinnerbait up under there, but I can't skip that jig like Andy Montgomery. So I had to have Andy come and show us how to skip that jig. So Andy's going to join us. Let's learn a little bit about skipping a jig. privilege today to share my boat with one of the best that there is, one of the most accurate casters, a guy that can put a bait anywhere he wants to put it. Look at that dude, put that bait in there where I could not think about putting the bait. And he does that every day, all day long. I watched him on Major League Fishing, put that bait. It's amazing. You know, the one thing that I notice that I like is it's almost effortless the way you handle your rod and reel. It's almost with no effort. What is this rod?
So this is the Lou's calls them the Signature Series. So
Right.
it's the Team Lou's Signature Series. Several of us pros kind of took our specialty, which mine's casting, skipping, and we designed the rod. We got Hackney, who's an incredible flipper. Zona's on the spinning rod. Mark Rose, one of the best crankers, deep water fisherman there is. He designed his rod. So the blanks are the same.
Well, I brought your rod. I had to get me one. Now, this is not what you're using. What is the power of the rod you're using right now?
So right now I'm using a 7-1 heavy action rod. This is a 7-3. So this is my Thunder Cricket rod, my bladed jig rod. So I have two with them. Of course, I was known for the Thunder Cricket bladed jig, so I was able to design one of them, which is a little more parabolic rod. The one I'm skipping jigs with is a 7-1 heavy. So for me, a good jig
It's
rod.
solid right here. It
Yeah.
just loads from about the fourth guide to fifth guide to the tip.
I call it an 80-20. You want a lot of tip to load that rod up, but then you gotta have the backbone to get them out. Because I'm not throwing this in open water. They're gonna be under there, they're gonna be under the platform, brush piles, whatever. You gotta have the rod to get it under there, but it's still no good if you can't get them out.
That's impressive. 400-yard par 5. Look at this. Now let me see that thing right there.
He's
Bring it.
fun. You can see
That's
through
a
him.
largemouth bass. That's what Lake Wylie had.
Yeah,
That is
except
not
they
a
used to be
largemouth.
bigger. You know, I've done a lot. Fishing's taken me a lot of places. I've done a lot of things, but I've arrived.
Yes, sir.
When Hank Parker takes my fish off the
I'm caddying, brother.
You know I'm gonna eat them. Yeah, you're caddying.
The deal is almost everybody knows, because it's so easy to discern when you pick up a loose reel, like a BB1 Pro, for example.
Correct.
You pick that reel up, man, it's like shutting the door on a Mercedes-Benz. It's solid.
Yeah.
And it's got such a tight, good feel to it. And then it's smooth as silk, and it's got a great drag. Anybody can discern that. Rods are a little bit more to discern. A lot of people can't figure out, well, this rod costs more, so it's got to be a better rod.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a misnomer. This rod's a better rod because Andy Montgomery can skip that bait on there, and he designed it, and he worked with the engineers and the technology, all the components. There's no secrets in the rod business.
Right.
The secret is the guy that knows what he needs to make that happen.
Yeah. I built two sizes in this because it's pretty important to match the length of the rod to how tall you are.
That's the interesting point, because you're what, 6'4"?
So yeah, 6'4", 6'4", and I use a 7-1 rod.
Yeah,
You
okay.
really need to
Yeah.
get over 6 to be able to use a 7-1 rod. It's an effortless cast. It's not a super sidearm cast. It's actually more of a 45, so my rod is pointing towards the water. Well, that's the deal. If you got too long of a rod, you're gonna hit the water, and it's gonna force you to sidearm. You don't want to sidearm, and that's the reason we got two sizes, the 6'9" and the 7-1, and that way you can match it. Because if you watch my rod, it's not this. Everything's done at this angle, right out in front of you, like that right there.
That is so effortless. I love that, man. That is so effortless. And what I like is that you were this far off the water, starting at that first pile and all the way back. So, man, you can get in those low places.
Correct, and that all goes back to the length of the rod. If the rod's too long for me, I cannot start my bait that close to the water because I got to come around all of this. So it all goes back to selecting the right size, the right length of rod for how tall you are. It's a huge deal. Some guys think you don't have the power in a 7-1 or 6'9". We're standing on a lake that I can't tell you how many bass has been caught on a 6.6 or 6.9 rod.
5.5, what I use.
The old pistol grip, I had
5.5.
Don't think Santa Claus didn't bring me one for Christmas. I don't know if he made it or you sent it to him, but I had the pistol grip.
Oh yeah, 5.5.
It's super important for, and you was probably one of the ones that first start preaching that, Hank, is how important it is to be accurate and have a short rod to be accurate. Thing we hadn't touched on, Hank, I just noticed it, and this is your deal, is not having just a crazy long handle back here. I mean, so if I got a crazy long handle, this cast here, what's it gonna hit?
Oh yeah, no, it's in your side.
It's in your side. And that's another thing with these, we built a little bit shorter handle on my skipping rods, and even on my Thunder Cricket rod, it's got the same handle leak.
I like that.
If you'll notice on Hackney's rods, his flipping rods are actually shorter. Van Dam's are a lot shorter. His jerkbait rod.
That's important. That jerkbait rod.
Super important.
Man, it's important. I'm so grateful for you coming out here and spending a little time with us. Very proud of your signature rods, and hopefully we will unveil the secret that the best rods in the world have been kept under wrap. We're going to tell the whole world.
There we go. Tell them all. Tell the truth. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's right. Thank you, my buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Hank.